and it's an honor. And I want to start off by saying one of the main reasons I'm here is because I am you. I am you. Not was you, but I am you. I grew up in similar circumstances. You know, in black communities, it's not affluent. We don't have as many opportunities as other nationalities. Many times it's poverty. Many times it's drugs, it's violence, it's crime. I grew up in that same environment. I'm not from Gary. I'm from a small area 20 miles away from, not even 20 miles away, 15 miles away from here called Roseland, better known as the Wild Hundreds. They called the Hundreds Wild because on every block there was a different set. It was a different gang. I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s where gang violence was for real, for real. That's when people were getting beat down at the bus stops. People were being shot and killed at random. As a matter of fact, during those times, Roseland was one of the murder capitals of America. This little small area on the south side of Chicago had more murders than most of the country. This is the environment I grew up in. Because I grew up in that environment, I was introduced to so many different influences. I did grow up with both of my parents. I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I was the last of 5, which kind of made me impressionable, right? But even though I had a good family background, even though I had family support, my friends were what really mattered to me. I lived right across the street from a project housing called the Indian Trails. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it, but it was the center point of the Hundreds where all of the murders were going on back in the early 2000s. And because of who was around me, I began to fall into that lifestyle. And if you don't get anything else from me today, I want y'all to remember this. Just like they say you are what you eat, you are who you hang around. Regardless of how smart you think you are, how clever you think you are, how much of a leader you think you are, you're gonna be who you hang around. And that was the case for me. I hung around friends that didn't have a good background, didn't have family support, didn't have community support. They didn't have mothers. Most of my friends' mothers were on drugs, fathers were in prison. So pretty much when I went over their houses, it was just a free fall. And that left us to do things that we shouldn't have been doing at young ages. Of course, this led me to be involved in the gang that was involved in my community, on my block, the Four Corner Hustlers. I became a Four Corner Hustler at 13 years old. Started smoking weed at 13 years old. Started selling dope at 15 years old. Now, I had both my parents. I had a family. I had a house. I had everything, but I followed my friends into this lifestyle that led me down a path that almost destroyed my life. So, of course, the drugs, the gang banging, you know, I don't know how y'all do it nowadays, but back then when you got affiliated, you had to do some dirt to be affiliated. You couldn't just know the guys and be a part of the guys. You had to do some things to become somebody that they could trust with their life. So I did violence. I did everything they asked me to do just so I could be a part of what we called the Triggertown Foes at the time. So that life led me down a path, you all, that I never thought I would be in. Of course, the violence and the drug dealing led to police activity in my life. And before you know it, I found myself in the penitentiary. I had a 3-year bid. I went down to Hillsborough, Illinois, Graham Correctional Facility. I don't know if y'all familiar, but this is a medium max facility. My first bid, I had so many, like they said, the cases that piled up. I had so many cases that piled up. My first bid was in a medium max penitentiary. My first seller, y'all, was on a 30-year bid. He was doing his 12th year on a 30-year bid. He was one of them swole cats, had scars all on his face. And here I come in, my first bid, scared as ever. I didn't sleep with my boots off till about a week later because I thought he was gonna want to do some things to me. This traumatized me, y'all. This is after they treated me like a slave and put me in chains, where my wrists were chained to my waist and my feet were chained together. And there was a chain going from me to my partner and through all of the people that they were shipping down like cattle to these penitentiaries. Sitting on a bus where you can't move and having to take a dump in a bucket. They don't even stop the bus for you to use the bathroom. You got to take a dump in the bucket. And I get to the penitentiary and I see one of the swollest cats I've ever met. Scarred up, attempted murder, and he's my seller. I was spooked, y'all. I know they try to talk about, you gotta be tough and, you can do bits on your hands and like it's all sweet, but it's not sweet. It's traumatizing. When I got there, thanks be to God, this killer, this murderer ended up being a friend to me. And the Department of Corrections did what it was supposed to do to me. It corrected my life. So I was able to get some time cut off my sentence because I went through the Safer Foundation. I got set free after just a year and a half. When I came back to the Hunters, of course, I found my friends. I missed my friends, even though they didn't bid with me. They didn't send me any money. They didn't send me no letters. They didn't come see me. All the guys that I did the dirt with didn't care nothing about me being gone. But when I come back now, they want to welcome me home. They want to put me back in the game. They want to help me out, right? So, of course, I fell back into the same rhythm, right? I fell back into the same reality that I had left. And my life didn't change, though, you all, until I believe it was 2007, when me and one of my buddies, my buddy was a hitter. He was one of them guys that you didn't play with. He was one of them guys that ain't gonna fight you. I know y'all know him, but they ain't gonna fight. They're gonna go straight for the bank. He was one of them. And unbeknownst to me, the night before, he put 9 bullets into one of the ops. I didn't know this. I'm trying to get my life together. He done did 2 or 3 bits trying to get his life together. I'm thinking he's getting his life right, but he's still on some murder. Standing on the block with him, y'all, minding our business, and we heard 8 shots ring out. We didn't know where it came from, but 5 of the 8 hit him. And thanks be to God, it didn't hit me. That was the time, that was the moment in my life where I had to change. Enough was enough. I saw that the violence that I was being a part of, the people that I was hanging around, was going to kill me. And this is what I need y'all. I don't know if y'all are hitters, I don't know if y'all got influence, whatever, but nobody makes it out the game. Nobody retires from the game. You might have fun for a little while. You might experience joy for a little while. You might have the rims, the cars, the hood fame, but it never lasts. You don't retire from the block unless you're lucky like me. So after that, you all, I got my life together. I found me a church. I found me positive people to be around. I found positive circles to follow. And that led me, y'all, to getting my life together. Now I got my bachelor's degree. Now I got my master's degree. And I'm on my way to getting my PhD degree. And my first book, y'all, I want y'all to be looking for it. It's going to be From the Penitentiary to the PhD. I got a wife now. I got a son now. I got a crib with a backyard big enough to do some things in. You know, y'all, we grew up with them backyards so little. You could jump across the back. But I got a backyard now where I can sit back and I can barbecue. I can have fun. And listen, my life is so peaceful now. I don't have to worry about the police when I see them riding the block. I don't have to think if I got some dope in my pocket, if I got some weed in my pocket, if I got a pistol under the seat. Because now my life is being lived on a different path. And I'm here to encourage you all, man. It ain't always got to be like this. It's another way. There is redemption. This is just a slap on the wrist. And God is putting people in y'all life to help you all to see that there's something new. You can be a builder of the community and not a destroyer of the community. Now, outside of me getting these degrees, outside of me finding a wife and kids, outside of me having a house, I'm a community leader. I went from the penitentiary to sitting on the board with the mayor of Gary on the committee for police reform in this city. I not only did that, but I worked with Gary for Life, where we reach out and try to touch the lives of men who have the same issues that I have. And not only that, y'all, I'm going to get you with this. I'm also the pastor of this great church. This church has been in this community for 104 years. Now I'm the pastor. So I just want to be the voice of redemption for y'all. I want to be the voice of aspiration. Listen, it can get better. You got greatness inside of you. There's something, it's the reason why the bullets didn't hit you. It's a reason why you're not pushing up daisies right now. It's a reason why you're still breathing. And it's not just to live, but it's for you to live abundantly. We can all live our lives in abundance if we'll just put ourselves around the right people and make the right decisions in life. Listen, I am you. I've been there. I've done that. It's probably why I don't fit in with a lot of the pastors either, because I didn't grow up under the pew. I got a little dirt on me. I got a little blood on my hands. But I'm so passionate about helping people that's coming through what I went through. So I pray that this is a word for all of you, that life can get better, and that the decisions that you make don't have to be the ones you used to make. You can make it out of your situation, and you can be a person that builds instead of breaks down your community. Man, I appreciate y'all listening to me. I appreciate your attention. And I pray that this was a blessing for your life. Thank you so much for the opportunity.